Welcome back to another episode of Mindful Moments. I am your host, Jada Lowe. If this is your first time listening in on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or any of the other podcast platforms, I'm glad to have you. And likewise on YouTube, if this is your first time coming across my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe and like button. And if you're coming back for another round, thank you for coming back. And I don't know if y'all have checked y'all's calendars. Baby, we in June. Woo! So with that being said, I want us to regroup. Let's get this thing together. Let's see how we've been doing since the new year started. I'm going to give y'all some updates on how I've been doing since the new year started, some stuff that I've put into place, practices that I've put into place, and just so we can kind of see where each other's head is at. So as it relates to like the new year jitters or like New Year's resolutions and all that type of stuff, not that they wear off, but your excitement kind of wanes as the year goes on, right? And so, like I said, I just want us to kind of check in and to see what we can do to not necessarily keep the New Year's jitters or excitement up, but just to see how we can keep the goals that we've set in place, and also just to do like some benchmark and checkups and check-ins on our processes and practices to keep implementing those things, not just until the end of the year, but for the years to come. And so what's gone good for y'all? What could be better? What's gone good for me? Honestly, y'all, this podcast has been going really, really well. My content, like all of that has just been going really, really well. And I'm grateful, and I just thank God that I've been able to be consistent, yes, but also just disciplined throughout the process. I used to beat myself up because I always felt like the things that I started, I wouldn't necessarily finish. But once I realized that it wasn't necessarily that yes, of course, I started and finished a lot of stuff, but it was a matter of finding the right thing for me in particular to start. For example, just different side hustles, try drop shipping, Amazon, all that type of stuff. And like, while that sparked an interest for me, I just always found that I couldn't keep up with it, not because I wasn't capable of it, but just for me and how I operate. I like to understand the reason behind why I'm doing something. I like for there to be passion, and there wasn't really passion. It was more so experimentation, which is fine. There's a time and a place for that, and it could have turned out well, but just through starting things and stopping things, I learned why that was the case with those things, and it also showed me too the things that I was passionate about. The things that I am passionate about, I'm able to continuously pursue them and to continuously set up practices and strategies because there's passion behind it. I feel like there's a reason why I'm speaking to y'all. There's a reason why I have the platforms that I have, and why I'm growing the platforms that I have is because I love creating. I love exercising my creativity and finding new ways to be creative. I love building community, and I love helping people. And I get to do all of that by talking to y'all. And so that was like the icing on the cake. And so being consistent with the things that you're passionate about, I believe it makes being consistent and the process of persistence, in my opinion, it makes it a little easier. Does that mean every day I want to get up here and record? No. Does it mean every day I want to set up my stuff and every day it's going to go great? No. But at the end of the day, my passion behind it, the vision that I know God has given me is the reason why I still get up and do it. And that's where I wanted to just kind of check in with you guys and see what goals have you set? Are there some goals that you feel like, or not even goals, but just certain tasks and missions, I guess, that you set for yourself during the year? Do you feel like you've accomplished some of them to a certain degree? It doesn't have to be 100%, but do you feel like you're making headway and making progress on those things? And are there other things that you feel like you just kind of got a taste for it and was like, no, don't want to do that. So what's y'all's headspace like as we enter into this, as we hit the halfway mark for 2023? So yeah, I feel like I've been consistent. I feel like content wise, everything's been great. Mentally, I feel really, really good. I've learned a lot about myself, just how I'm working through things mentally. And that's been a beautiful journey to be on too. And I've just really been taking better care of myself as far as like being in tune with myself and mentally, and just focusing on myself and what it is that I want to do, and paying attention to that and putting myself first. So all of those things culminated together. My year has started off pretty daggum good. So yeah, some things that could be better. Hmm. the the biggest thing for me in particular, I would say I'm working on being proactive and not reactive. Proactive instead of reactive. What's the nicest way to put this? When if something makes me feel some type of way, or I see something that makes me feel some type of way, or if I did something to set myself back, or if somebody did something that may have been offensive or yada yada yada, something may have rubbed me the wrong way. No matter what the case is, I'm trying to work on, yes, not taking it personally, but assessing it better and assessing it in more of a proactive way, instead of reacting and reacting off feelings, and then later being able to see why it happened the way it did and why I acted the way I did. I'm trying to do a better job of thinking on my feet when things don't go as I expect, or if somebody says something to me that catches me off guard, or if I'm in a tough situation, or if something hurts me. I'm trying to work on being proactive in the midst of those situations. And it's easier said than done. It is so, that is a truly a daily, just a daily task. Even when it comes to like thoughts that may come in my head, I'm trying to work on, okay, like how do I be more proactive about that, instead of reacting and think and beating myself up because I should have healed from this and I'm still thinking about this. But how can I be proactive and say, okay, you have the decision and the choice to say, hey, I'll let this thought stay here rent free, or eviction notice. Like I have, that's what I feel like being proactive is. And so that is what, yes, could be going better, but that's an area of my life that I'm learning to maneuver through. So with that, I'm going to get off my soapbox, and I want to tell y'all, well, I'll still be on my soapbox because I'm still talking to y'all. Anywho, some things that helped me just press through the first half of this year was just constantly reminding myself of what God told me, what I believe I can do, and what I know I'm capable of, and just believing in myself, and honestly developing my relationship with God. Because when I first, like I told y'all in an earlier episode, I had originally wanted to start podcasting back in 2021. And while the passion was there, just being transparent, I don't think my personal belief in myself was there the way it is now. And I can see the difference between then and now. And I'm able to press forward because I have a different level of belief in myself. And you may be asking me, Jada, what do I do to make sure that I can still press through the rest of the year? Because y'all, keeping it a buck, motivation is not here 365 days out the year. That is not it. That is not the case. And so two things I would want to say to you guys would be, one, remember why you're doing it in the first place. Even if you're having the worst day possible, still say to yourself, okay, why am I doing this? What is it about this that fuels me? Why am I passionate about it? And that will bring you back to center. I When you do that, I don't think you necessarily hop back up and get back to it, but it helps you to focus on the overarching goal, yes, but it helps you to focus on why your heart is in it. Like I was telling y'all, the other things, and not just like side hustles and stuff, but just things in general that I would start and stop. When I ask myself, why am I doing this? I could never come to a definite answer. If you ask me, if I ask myself, okay, Jada, why are you podcasting? Why are you on YouTube? Why are you doing this and this? I love to create. I know it's what God has called me to do. I feel a responsibility for it, and I love helping people. That's 4 answers right there. If you ask me why I wanted to drop ship, I'm going to be honest. I would tell you so I could make some money. I'm just being honest. And when you know your why and when you know what God has told you, all of that other stuff comes. But I believe it's important to always come back to, why am I doing this? Why do I feel this, like something, basically, why do I feel it in my spirit that this is like tugging on me like that? I believe that's what helps, because motivation dies out. For example, with the gym, I do not want to get up and go to the gym every day. At the most, I'll go to the gym probably 3 to 4 days out of the week, if I'm being honest. Even those days, I don't want to go. But I have to ask myself, okay, Jada, why, even though I don't want to go, why am I going? Because I want to take care of myself. I want to take care of my body. I know that I personally enjoy knowing that I did something during the day to help my body and to move my body and to cater to my body and fuel my body in a healthy way. Does that mean that I want to go? No, but I'm going to go because I know the reason behind why I'm going. And it's deeper and bigger than me not wanting to go. The other thing that I would say, how do I keep pressing forward and how do I keep pressing through the rest of the year? Understand that discipline will outweigh motivation. And going back to the analogy of the gym, I'm not always motivated to go to the gym, but I've built up a habit and a discipline in knowing what my body can do and what my body can handle, even when I push past the days where I'm not the most motivated. And that's the same when it comes to tackling your goals, big or small. You won't always be motivated to do it, but that's why I believe it's important to have strategies, practices, and just processes in place to where even when that motivation dies out or is gone completely, you still have a process to refer to. I know that I may not be motivated to make another episode, but I know that I have the process. Okay, I need to plan whether I want to do it or not. I need to plan. I need to record. I need to edit. I need to break everything down. I need to upload. Because if I don't, then I'm just going out on a whim, and now I'm not even giving it what I really can give it. I'm not really putting my all into it. And so I believe the processes and practices put a sense of concreteness in place where discipline can have its form and its shape for when motivation dies out. It's not a matter of if you'll lose motivation. It's honestly a matter of when. I'm not being pessimistic. That's just what it is. You don't feel like doing certain things, even as it pertains to your goals, 100% every day. You don't feel 100% excited about it every day, but there is a sense of urgency. Urgency isn't always like in a sense of motivation. Urgency is, I feel like that's more of like responsibility, and that's where the discipline comes into place. But there's a sense of urgency and being intentional that comes with it, where the discipline kicks in when the motivation fades out. And how do we remain consistent? I believe, like I said, discipline is one. Another one is planning and having your strategy. I've noticed that I'm less inclined to do something, just me personally, I'm less inclined to do something when I don't have it planned out. And it's harder for me to execute when I don't have it planned out. I need a plan. I need details. I don't need details like down to the nitty gritty, but I need some details. I need to see it in my head to where, because that takes the anxiousness and the worry, and I guess you could say stress off of me, to where, even like I said, even if I don't want to come and do it, I at least have my plan and my strategy in place to where I can carry it out and still be efficient in doing it. And also, just, I would say to revisit your goals and write them down. Whether, I don't care how big they are, I don't care how small they are, write them down, because when you need that reminder, it's important to revisit it. Yes, it may pop up in your head, or you may think about it, or you may just kind of tell yourself every now and then of what your goals are. But I believe it's important to write it down. That way you have something tangible to revisit. And when you go back, there are some things that I wrote down at the beginning of the year, y'all, that some of them were big and some of them were small. But you know what it's like when you scratch off some of them medium-sized goals, some of the small goals, and even some of the big ones that you don't even realize that you completed. And the satisfaction and the gratification that you get from knowing that you accomplished, even if it was, even, slow down, Jada, knowing that you accomplished even the smallest goal that you had written down. That's the purpose of writing it down. That's the purpose of having a tangible piece of evidence. Okay, this is what I said I was going to do, and I did it. At the end of the day, that feels amazing, especially for me. I'll get a sticky note. I'll have 10 sticky notes, and I scratch them things off, crumble them up, throw them in the trash, and you see how much you've chipped away at something, whether you've chipped away at small chunks of a big goal, or whether you chipped away at just a big goal in general. Write it down. That way you have something tangible to see and revisit, whether it's in your notes, or whether it's in your journal, or whether it's on a piece of paper. Definitely write them down so you can revisit them, and so you can check in periods throughout the year, just in general, to see what else it is that you need to do, to see if you've been putting all your attention somewhere and need to redirect it, or to see if this method didn't really work for this goal. Just like a benchmark, and what's the word I'm looking for? Like a reassessment and evaluation process, just to do throughout the year. And it personally helps me to write my goals down. And I even write like my tasks down, all that stuff, even as it relates to the things that I need to do in the day, to where I can cross it out. Because if it's all up here, baby, let me tell you something. You might as well say it's in the wind. It helps me to write it down. That way I can see. And I love striking through stuff. I love checking off stuff. And so I believe those are the things that can help us to be and remain consistent. Discipline, your plan and your strategy, and revisiting your goals. And even though motivation does fade out, encourage yourself. There will come times where you'll have peaks of motivation. There will also come times where your motivation just may not be as high as you'd like for it to be. But encourage yourself through that process. And just know that you don't have to get the whole goal done by the halfway point, or even like some goals, yes, are meant to be accomplished in the year that you've set out to accomplish them. But some other goals may need to be chipped away at throughout the year, to where even going into the next year, you've gotten more accomplished, and you can steady chipping away at it to where that big overarching goal is now accomplished. And I just want you guys to know that just putting those practices in place, I believe will help, because they've helped me. And let me know, what works for you guys. What is some stuff that I may have not mentioned that you found, not just throughout 2023, but just period, just some systems that you've put into place, some things that you may tell yourself that help you accomplish your goals. And I just want to encourage you guys that as you push through the rest of this year, as you start and embark on the second half of 2023, just take it brick by brick, take it piece by piece, step by step, and take it one day at a time. That is the best way to accomplish your goals. You don't have to have everything done in today. Do what you can in today. Don't beat yourself up if you weren't able to get everything done in today. Do the best and be the best you that you can be within the day that is given. That is all you have control over, truly. And then as you're blessed with the next day, do the same thing even better. Give yourself rest, give yourself time, and also move with intentionality and move with the pace and at the pace that's comfortable for you. And I encourage you as we go through the second half of this year, even though the new year jitters have died down, stay consistent. When your motivation fades out, let that discipline kick in, but also make sure you have some good processes and practices and systems in place to where the discipline has room to operate. And remember why you're doing it, and revisit your goals and know that you are capable of finishing. You are capable of pushing through. Some of y'all may be in a funk because you're not as far along as you thought you were. You will be okay. You can push past it. There are some things that ask yourself, what have I learned and what do I want to do differently? And what's the reason why I'm not satisfied with myself, and why haven't I hit the goals that I've hit? What's stopping me from doing what it is? What's stopping me from doing what I need to do? And know that you are capable of even pushing past that. You're capable of pushing past the little funk that you're in. You're capable of pushing past that. And you're capable of being consistent, and you have the ability to be intentional. Find what it is that sparks your interest. Find what it is that you're passionate about, and find what it is that you love. And if you have found that, great. If you haven't, continue to push towards it and continue to ask yourself and revisit with yourself what it is that you want. And I just encourage you, as you go through the second half of this year, like I said, you can finish strong. You can finish strong. You are capable. You are worth it. You are worthy of the goals that you've set out, and you are capable of achieving them, and you will achieve them. And know that I'm proud of you, and I believe you can do it. For sure, right on, I believe you can do it. And so I want you guys to just be mindful as you go throughout the day, as you go throughout this week, and just be mindful of the goals that you want to set. Be mindful of the things that you have set in place, but also be mindful and know that you are capable of getting it done, and you will get it done. Just take it one day at a time. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Mindfull Moments. I'll be back next week. We're uploading every other Monday. I may add some bonus episodes in, so y'all just stay on the lookout. Stay tuned. Be sure to follow me on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts, and also on YouTube, and put them notifications on, so that way if some extra episodes do get dropped, you'll be able to see them. So yes, I love you guys. You're worth it. I love you, and I'm proud of you, and keep pushing and pressing towards your goals. I'll see you guys in the next episode.